for joining us. You're live in from GBC24 here in our studios and on GTV as well. This is News Hour, and in the headlines tonight,
first sign language school inaugurated at Weija.
Ruling NDC retain Amenfi West constituency seat.
And on the foreign front, private schools in Tanzania ordered to reduce fees as part of reforms in the education sector.
My name is Selikem Akola Shapalu, and you're welcome.
My name is Akpene Avo Ajaja. Clement Sam is also here with us. He will do the sign language translation of the news. The news now in detail.
Vice President Kwesi Amissah Arthur has inaugurated the first ever sign language school at Weija in Accra.
The private initiative is in line with the government's obligation to harness the capabilities of its citizens so as to integrate all manner of persons to access equal rights and privileges in the country.
Mr. Amissah Arthur asked Ghanaians, especially education and health workers, to learn sign language, a move that will lead to social protection and inclusion of the hearing impaired.
Nuto Bibini Nuto reports.
This group is made up of students from the State School for the Deaf. Their dance steps are dependent on the drum beats felt under their feet. This shows how smart people with hearing impairment are. Unfortunately, their education encounters various challenges which the state and community grapple with by the day. In Ghana, there is no institution that teaches sign language, the mode of communication for the deaf and the hearing. The products of the University of Education, Winneba, trained to teach in deaf schools, do not meet the required standard for the job. The Ghana Association for the Deaf have also reneged on their duties of classifying sign language interpreters and translators, worsening the plight of the hearing impaired in Ghana. The Supreme Sign Institution started some 3 years ago, hoping to fill the gap created in the search for a well-structured sign language sector that inures to the benefit of the deaf. Though the institute is not accredited by the National Accreditation Authority, management says it is affiliated to Gallaudet University in the USA.
May we humbly appeal to government for logistic support for our research outfit, staff supply, essential teaching and learning materials in this worldwide effort to remove communication barriers to enable the deaf enjoy safe and secure lifestyle.
Vice President Kwesi Amissah Arthur said the initiative is a big step to demystifying education of the hearing impaired.
In training our teachers for basic schools, we can utilize the sign language as part of the curriculum. English is the language of instruction in our schools, but we also teach other languages: French, German, Spanish, Portuguese, Chinese now. But there's no training for sign language. Even in health, doctors need to be trained, nurses need to be trained to improve their communication with the deaf people so that they can deliver better service for them. They can explain what is exactly wrong with them so that they can better serve them. The security agencies, in intelligence, in the judiciary, in the judicial system, we must all improve our capability in equipping our personnel to communicate in the sign language.
The institute is open to anyone who has the interest in sign language for a 6 months or 18 months diploma training. Nto Bibini Nto, GBC24, Weija.
Let's do some politics now. The NDC has retained the Amenfi West constituency seat in the Western region. The party's parliamentary candidate, Mr. Eric Afo, obtained 15,809 votes, representing 52.64% to win the seat. Mr. Paul Dechi of the NPP had 13,076, representing 43.54%. Whilst Mr. J. Elvis of UFP polled 113, representing 0.36%, and Mr. Abraham Kojo Bwedi of PPP had 1,032, representing 3.44%.
It was a moment of joy for NDC supporters as they regained the parliamentary seat in the constituency. The Amenfi West constituency until 2003 it has been a safe seat for the ruling NDC, so retaining the seat gave the party a relief. The declaration of the final result delayed because some polling stations were in remote areas. At exactly 11 a.m., the Amenfi West District Returning Officer, Mr. Pat Ishen, announced the result and declared Mr. Eric Affle of the NDC as the winner.
For the chief of NPP, polled 13,076. Eric Affle of NDC polled 15,809. At this juncture, by the power reposed in me by the chairperson of the EC, I declare Eric Affle as the winner and the new occupant.
The MP-elect, Mr. Eric Affle, thanked the people of Amenfi West for giving him the nod.
I will continue with the good works of the late Honorable John GTV for having served this country for about 11 years. All what he has left, he has not completed them. I'll make sure that I'll complete it and bring a lot of development within this constituency.
The NDC Director of Election, Mr. Samuel Ofusuampofo, said his party is glad to have taken the seat again.
We are not too happy about the margin, but it also has to do with the turnout, because once you have a very low turnout, it has its own effect on the margin. So the most important thing is that the NDC has retained the seat, and it is to the memory of our late MP.
Moving away from politics and now to the Ashanti region, and the National Media Commission on Civic Education has urged the media to see civic education as a shared responsibility. A sensitization program organized for media practitioners at Kumasi recommended that journalists use their medium to protect and promote and educate citizens to live up to their civic responsibility.
The theme for the workshop, Strengthening Civic Education Through Media Advocacy, sought to educate media practitioners on the need to see civic education as a shared responsibility. It is also to create the awareness that the media and citizens in general need to be actively involved in governance. The Ashanti Regional Director of the Electoral Commission, Mr. Paul Boateng, cautioned the media to avoid fueling tension before, during and after the 2016 general elections.
Let's do well. If you want to help the entire process to be successful, then we have to always cross-check our facts and figures and get them right before we go public.
The Deputy Chairman of the National Commission for Civic Education in charge of programs, Mr. Samuel Asari Kwamwa, said civic education should be considered in editorial policies and programs of media houses.
The businesses will thrive well if there is peace, if we have a very responsible citizenship, there is political stability, the freedoms we are enjoying are well thriving, that the businesses will also thrive. And therefore, you should make some little space for issues that border on civic education.
The Executive Director of Media Foundation for West Africa, Mr. Suleiman Abrahima, spoke to GBC24 on the need for the media to be professional in the discharge of their duties.
Journalists are supposed to be doing journalism, and politicians are supposed to be practicing politics. And so people are not barred from joining politics. If at any point in time a journalist feels they are much more attracted to doing politics, they can completely go into politics. But I think it is not right to be a politician, in disguise and say that you are a journalist.
The Minister for Education, Professor Nana Jane Opoku-Agyeman, and some members of the Council of State have toured the recently inaugurated J.E. Atta Mills Community Day Senior High School at Ekumfi Otuam in the Central Region. The visit provided the team an opportunity to interact with the teachers and students of the school.
First on the agenda was a meeting with the chiefs, Queen Mothers and opinion leaders of the area. The acting president of the Ekumfi Traditional Council, Nana Aidan, said the people of the town are grateful for being a beneficiary of the free day SHS program, but said there is the issue of accommodation and transportation for the staff since the school is quite a distance from the town. The team then moved to the school. The J.E. Atta Mills Community Day Senior High School was commissioned on the 17th of September this year as part of government's free senior high program aimed at overhauling the educational system to meet the critical developmental needs of the country. The headmaster of the school, Mr. Kwame Alovi, said the school currently has a population of 247 students, 15 permanent teaching staff and 4 permanent non-teaching staff.
Right now we are doing general arts, business and agric. The science program will take place maybe perhaps next term when we have the equipment installed.
The 4-story school structure houses 24 classrooms, 4 laboratories, 2 libraries, 8 offices for departmental heads, an ICT laboratory, and offices for the headmaster and staff. The Minister for Education, Professor Nana Jane Opoku-Agyeman, urged the students to take advantage of the opportunity given them and not let any challenges they are facing overshadow their studies.
I don't want to believe that any pioneer student here is here to fail. Fail is not in our vocabulary as students. It is success, it is passing, it is moving on, it is excellence.
The chairman of the Council of State, Mrs. Cecilia Johnson, shared a few thoughts.
Privileges come with responsibilities. It is your responsibility to make use of the facilities that have been provided to ensure that you study very well, to become one of the best schools in the country.
The government hopes to build more of such schools across the country.
Moving on to environmental issues, it is estimated that Accra generates 2,800 tons of solid waste and 800 cubic meters of liquid waste. Presently, about 60% of the waste is collected for disposal and treatment. The uncollected waste degrades the soil and, according to the Soil Science Society of Ghana, has negative effects on the environment.
The degradation of the soil results in adverse effects on society. This is because the soil is connected to agriculture and food security, biodiversity, climate change, source of water and fuel production. Issues of environmental conservation is of grave concern. Hence, it is a plus when decision makers do not downplay environmental issues. The symposium was part of the activities for the International Year of Soil to sensitize people on the importance of soil to human existence, marked under the theme Soil, the Ground for Life. Speakers at the event highlighted issues on waste management and artisanal mining of galamsey and its effects on agriculture productivity. They called for an extensive awareness creation of soil conservation and stressed the need to protect the soil from human-induced practices like galamsey and improper industrial and urban waste management, as these factors deplete the soil. A senior forestry officer at the regional office of UNFAO in Accra, Mr. Fode Bojan, called on state and non-state actors to invest in sustainable soil management and development. The president of the Soil Science Society of Ghana, SSSG, in an interview with GBC24, asked citizens to champion soil conservation because it is critical to boosting agriculture productivity and human survival on Earth.
Good farming begins with an understanding of a soil. If you have poor soil, then you have poor farming and then poor living. If you have good soils, you have good farming and living.
Experts in soil management offered constructive approaches for optimum waste management, like recovering, recycling and processing organic waste into compost to improve soil fertility.
A platform to promote the development of cassava as an industrial crop has been launched in Accra. The Minister for Food and Agriculture, Mr. Fifi Kwete, said the ministry is working on a policy to promote the use of high-quality cassava flour as a source of major raw material for the confectionery and pharmaceutical industry.
The two groups of cassava varieties are the industrial cassava type and the non-industrial type. The non-industrial cassava sweet type has low starch content and can be eaten without any processing. The industrial type, on the other hand, can be consumed only when processed. Of the 16.5 million metric tons of cassava produced in Ghana last year, 95% was made up of non-industrial varieties. It is to promote the development of cassava as an industrial crop and encourage its use as an import substitute to ethanol and starch that the platform on industrial cassava was launched. The chairman of the Ghana Industrial Cassava Platform, Mr. Kwejua Hilija, urged stakeholders in the value chain to pay more attention to the industrial cassava variety since the crop has a high market value.
A huge market opportunity exists for Ghana to produce cassava, starch, ethanol, and high-quality cassava flour. As at 2014, Ghana's arable land, which has not been cultivated, stood at 6.3 million hectares. We need to cultivate another 500,000 hectares of this idle arable land to support processing plants that can generate export inflows and/or import substitution to the tune of $2.4 billion yearly.
The Minister for Food and Agriculture, Mr. Fifi Kwete, said the ministry is currently working on a policy to promote the use of high-quality cassava flour with a working team constituted to develop the policy.
We are willing and available to provide critical support and pleased to know that the ministry is well represented on this platform as well. Whilst we wish you a very successful meeting, I wish to bring your attention to an issue which often bedevils most platforms. We normally have a very beautiful launch, great intentions are expressed amidst a lot of fanfare, but unfortunately, it does not always live up to expectation.
Members of the platform recommended a fully funded cassava research institute to breed industrial cassava with high starch content of not less than 25%.
You're watching News Hour live on your news channel GBC24. We'll be right back. Welcome back. Parliament has approved budget allocations to 7 government institutions. The development will enable such agencies to carry out their services and programs effectively. The Speaker of the House, Mr. Edward Doa-Jaho, on Wednesday directed the Finance Committee of the lawmaking body to work on some discrepancies found in the report of the 7 institutions presented before the House and make the necessary recommendations.
The 7 government agencies whose budget allocations have been approved are the Ministry of Finance, Ministry of Health, National Development Planning Commission, NDPC, Office of the Head of Civil Service, the Ghana Revenue Authority, Ministry of Roads and Highways, the Ministry of Justice and the Attorney General's Department. Members on both sides of the House debated on report presented by the various committees. Some of the issues bordered on why some agencies have had their budget allocations for 2016 as against what was approved by the House this year.
If you look at the budget and what government is giving them, it's woefully inadequate. And if they have other areas, sources of funding, which does not come, but at the end of the day, same will be captured in the financials of the government. So it is important that henceforth this is adhered to strictly, and I believe once that is done, it will help us as a house.
It is not sufficient to make allocations. That the Ministry of Finance is urged to ensure that when the allocations are made, they are followed through to be released to the ministries and the agencies to enable them to perform the work.
Some members of the minority side queried the report presented by the Committee on Health on its budget allocation.
We are so worried about the 92.8 billion that the Ministry of Finance is taking away from the National Health Insurance Fund to support other activities of the ministry, which should not be the core business of the ministry.
The benefit to health insurance is great when you have vaccines, because not many people will then be claiming. So they used to spend that amount of money, which is about 5 million. 10%, which is about 5 million Ghana cedis.
At the National Health Insurance Fund may escalate to the extent that we are not careful by the next 2 years. Even if all their monies are given to them, they will not be able to operate for more than 3 months.
The Speaker, Mr. Do Ajaho, directed the Minister for Health to correct some discrepancies in its report and consider the recommendations made by members of the House.
So all the factors that have been raised are of serious importance to me as Minister of Health. I therefore will deal with the issues that have been raised, and I would ask your permission for you to accept and move that the budget that I have put forward be approved.
Good evening, it's time to do some business. My name is Esther Adu. The car partnership has started generating power to address the shortfall in the supply of energy in the country. So far, car power has added 140 megawatts to the existing power generation from 7 of its turbines. Hopefully, by next week Friday, the remaining 3 turbines will come on stream, and this will go a long way to shore up electricity supply during the Christmas period. Engineers at the site say there are a few technical works to be done on the barge to get it fully operational. To this end, the official inauguration of the barge, which was scheduled for next week Friday, has been postponed. The Finance Ministry has translated the 2016 budget into 5 local languages to whip up interest in the document at the local level and in the utilization of state resources. The 26-page booklet, which comes in Asante Twi, Ga, Ewe, Dagbani and Nzima, is referred to as the Citizens' Budget.
The Citizens' Budget is a summary of the national budget, written in simple language on how government plans to raise revenue and how it plans to allocate resources. It comes with simple graphs, charts and pictures for easy understanding. The Citizens' Budget, which has been rolled out for the past 3 years, is supported by the German government. At the launch of the booklet at Dodowa in the Greater Accra region, the Finance Minister explained in simple terms what the 2016 budget contains.
Then the next question is, how do we spend it after we've collected the money? The first category of expenditure are the salaries, allowances, and other payments that are paid to public employees, like myself, like the district chief executive, or like the coordinating director, my chief director, and others. These are the public servants, and there are many people who live here and go to work, whether Ministry of Health, Ministry of Education, teachers, and all those who work for government. The taxes that we pay are used to pay them, and that's what we normally call compensation, which is made up of wages, salaries, and allowances.
He revealed documents such as the National Development Plan will also be summarized and written in local languages.
And so another useful document which complements this, and which I would hope Ministry of Finance, my ministry, and the NDPC will do well to also summarize, is the National Development Plan, which we call the GSGDA. That gives us a longer perspective, irrespective of government, on how we are going to be raising revenue and how we will be spending it.
The booklets will be distributed to various districts and municipal assemblies for onward distribution across the country. The citizens' budget will enable citizen participation at all levels to hold government accountable.
China's ambassador to Ghana says Ghana has the potential to turn her waste into wealth. Madam San Buahong has commended Jospon Group of companies for its move to recycle waste in the country.
The ambassador toured the Zoom Lion recycling processing plant at the Jospon Group of companies with her technical and research team. At Jospon, Madame Sang Buanghong visited the tricycle assembling plant where spare parts of waste collecting tricycles are put together. She later visited the plastic waste recycle plant. There, the workers took the team through the process where used sachet water rubbers are recycled. The Chinese ambassador was impressed about what she saw at the plant.
This trip is very, it's full of education and thought-provoking. I think it deepens understanding of the basic national conditions of Ghana. Not only about the sanitation issues of city, but also about the private sector. You have cooperated with China for a long time, but to us, the knowledge of our embassy people, it's quite new.
Zoom Lion and the Jospon Group were grateful to the Chinese ambassador for the visit. Zoom Lion is the leading company in waste management in Ghana.
Intravenous infusion, an indigenous IV fluid producer, has joined a league of companies trading on the Ghana Stock Exchange's alternative market. The company, at its initial public offer, raised 6 million Ghana cedis after floating 94 million shares.
Intravenous infusions began operations in 1974. It is the oldest and most reliable indigenous IV fluids producer in Ghana and West Africa. The company currently supplies between 50 to 60% of IV fluids to hospitals and pharmacies nationwide and exports approximately 10% of its products to neighboring countries such as La Côte d'Ivoire, Burkina Faso and Togo. According to the company, the demand for its products on the local market and in some countries in Africa makes it prudent to raise an additional capital from the stock market. The more than 6 million Ghana cedis raised by the company will be used to complete the installation of its new production plant in order to increase its capacity from the current level of 4.5 million bags to 15 million bags of IV fluids annually. With this move, Intravenous can now leverage on its quality products to fully exploit the untapped market opportunities in Africa. Projections made by the management of the company show that revenue from export will also grow from 10 to 45% over the next 5 years. After a successful initial public offer, the bell was rung for the Intravenous infusion to be officially listed on the alternative market of the stock exchange. The managing director of the Ghana Stock Exchange, Mr. Kofi Yamwa, urged the company to use the market to meet the growing demand of its products.
If SMEs are to come to this market, they will impose on themselves good corporate governances as required by the marketplace. And naturally, this is a requirement for improving the fortunes of businesses in an increasingly competitive market as we have here.
The managing director of the Security and Exchange Commission, Mr. Edu Ananientri, appealed to the Ghanaian SMEs who need capital to use the alternative markets to do so.
Develop your businesses, let other people come in and share the risks and also enjoy the returns that you have. Companies are built by individuals, but your own strengths will not be enough to take you to where you want to go. Let other people come in and share in the risks and also in the rewards that will come to companies.
On the outlook, the managing director of Intravenous Infusion, Mr. Richard Okra, said the company is now better placed to serve its customers.
Intravenous Infusions Limited
when operating at its full capacity, can produce approximately 4.5 million bags per year. But as you can see, even at full capacity, this is not enough. Our vision is to become a leading manufacturer and supplier of pharmaceutical and medical products in Ghana in the 21st century. And the GACs and our shareholders are making this realization possible.
Intravenous is the fourth company to be listed on the GSE alternative market after Samba Foods, Iswe Loans and Meridian Holdings.
The cedi on a third run and depreciated against the pound to close trading at 5 cedis 77 pesos. But after firming against the dollar on Tuesday, it lost 1 peso against the dollar on Wednesday. It however gained 2 pesos to the euro to close trading at 4 cedis 16 pesos. Let's go to the interbank board. Light crude dropped 33 cents to trade at $37 per barrel. Cocoa, on the other hand, lost $12 to sell at $3,326. Let's have the figures. And that was business. There's more news ahead. Keep watching.
Welcome back. In the health news, Accra College of Medicine, a private medical school, has been inaugurated to churn out medical scientists and clinicians. Mrs. Matilda Emisa Arthur says the deficits in the doctor-patient ratio in the country needs to be addressed. A report by Theodora Amedeto.
The Accra College of Medicine, ACM, is a premier private and independent medical college set up to provide cutting-edge medical education in Ghana. ACM provides world-class research-oriented training tailored towards solving the health challenges in Ghana and Africa. The founder and president of the Accra College of Medicine, Professor Ifwa A.J. Hesse, said the college is poised to redefine medical education and raise medical practitioners who would make a difference in their communities.
The vision of ACM is to put medical education on an even higher pedestal, using modern technology and producing a doctor for whom medicine is such a vocation that they will go to it with heart power and will put their patients first, even before themselves. This is at the heart of the core values of ACM of excellence, integrity, leadership, innovation, passion, willingness to serve in their community.
The wife of the vice president, Mrs. Matilda Emisa Arthur, noted that the current doctor-patient ratio, according to the World Health Organization, is pegged at 1:600. As at 2013, the doctor-patient ratio in Ghana stood at 1:10,000. Hence, a private medical college is laudable and complementary to government effort.
The demand for medical officers in the country is very high,
and government alone cannot shoulder the responsibility of satisfying that demand. Private participation is therefore very welcome. I hope the Accra College of Medicine will be one of a difference, one with a patient orientation. I also hope that you will provide students with high-quality medical education. I urge you to have a positive attitude to what you do here and to work as if everything depends on you.
Members of the medical fraternity, the Minister for Health, Mr. Alex Segbefia, and representatives from the University of Ghana, the National Accreditation Board, the Ghana Health Service, Medical and Dental Council, and the clergy pledged to support the college to achieve its objectives. Theodora Medeto, GBC24, Accra.
UNICEF and its partners have instituted an award on sanitation and hygiene for journalists. The Face of Open Defecation media feature and photo contest is aimed at addressing open defecation in the country.
Open defecation and its sanitation-related diseases continues to be a societal menace. The World Bank Water and Sanitation Program puts the economic loss of open defecation at $79 million a year. According to the Ministry of Local Government and Rural Development, 243 Ghanaians lost their lives due to cholera in the year 2014 alone.
Last year's cholera was very bad. And we recorded close to 28,975 cases, and out of which we lost 243 human beings.
To the Chief Water, Sanitation and Hygiene Official of UNICEF, David Duncan, the situation calls for urgent attention.
Open defecation, as we've heard, remains a major challenge in Ghana. 1 in 5 Ghanaians continues to use Ghana as a toilet. It's been this way, though, for some time. Whilst the rest of the world seems to be moving forward, we seem to be standing still.
Themes for the Face of Open Defecation media feature and photo contest include the menace of open defecation, community efforts to open defecation, a cost-benefit analysis of open defecation, among others. Madam Amaku Domajiman speaks about prizes for the award winners.
Overall winner will get a sponsorship package to participate in and cover events of the 2016 Stockholm Water Week. That is in Sweden.
UNICEF and its partners hope to support over 5 million Ghanaians to stop defecating in the open.
And in an appeal, 2-year-old Emmanuel Boache has been diagnosed with corrosive esophageal stricture, a severe narrowing of the throat. In order to save his life, he needs to undergo a surgery at a cost of 6,000 Ghana cedis. Little Boache is therefore appealing to the public for financial support.
According to Emmanuel's mother, who is a soap manufacturer, her son accidentally swallowed a corrosive substance which she uses to prepare her soap. She hinted that due to her son's condition, he can no longer eat nor drink through his mouth, as the only option now is to pass food or drink through a tube which has been connected to his stomach. Emmanuel's difficulty with swallowing is due to the severe narrowing of his throat. Doctors have recommended that he undergoes a surgery called colon bypass, which costs 6,000 cedis. Donations could be sent to the following account details: Global Access Bank, Branch, Spintex Road, account name Douglas Adai, account number 010 101 391 6912 or call 0241 616 104 for any assistance.
Health segments will be back with what's happening on the foreign front.
In some international news, private schools in Tanzania have been ordered to reduce fees as part of a government review of education. The Education Ministry has also banned state schools from seeking contributions from parents. Free government primary education was introduced in 2002, and from January, annual fees of $19 will be abolished at secondary schools too. But most state schools request contributions from parents of about $100 a year, which many cannot afford. Tanzania's new president, John Magufuli, has promised to overhaul the education sector where standards are low and resources stretched in state schools.
And in South Africa, thousands of protesters have gone on a march in the country to demand the sack of President Jacob Zuma. The latest protests are a reaction to his sacking last week of 2 finance ministers, further damaging confidence in the economy. This comes on top of claims of widespread corruption, recent student protests, and a secession battle in the governing African Congress. The marchers are using the hashtag Zuma must fall on social media. The hashtag Zuma must fall hashtag is a modification of the hashtag Fees Must Fall, which was used to organize protests against a rise in university fees. Before that, hashtag Rhodes Must Fall was used to demand a statue of British colonialist Cecil Rhodes removed from the University of Cape Town's campus. Jacob Zuma still appears to have support within the National Executive Committee of the ANC. We'll be back with the sports news. Do stay with us.
Welcome back. In some sports stories, the Minister for Youth and Sports, Dr. Mustafa Ahmed, says the much talked about sports bill will be laid before Parliament at the next sitting in 2016. Dr. Ahmed revealed that the draft bill has already gone to Cabinet.
The bill seeks to replace the SMC Decree 54 of 1976 regarding the various aspects of sports management, promotion and development in Ghana, and seeks to make it current with international best practices. Addressing a section of officials of the Ghana Olympic Committee, heads of the various associations and federations, and sports journalists in Accra, the Youth and Sports Minister, Dr. Mustafa Ahmed, outlined the stages the bill has gone through.
The draft of the much awaited sports law is currently before Cabinet. Indeed, it has gone through all the stages in Cabinet, including consideration by the Cabinet Subcommittee.
Many are of the view that the passage of the sports bill will cure the challenges facing the sports sector.
The son of ex-World Athlete Chief Lamine Diak is one of 4 officials facing a disciplinary hearing this week over an alleged doping cover-up.
A former consultant for the IAAF, Papa Masata Diak, and ex-IAAF anti-doping director Gabriel Doli are charged with breaches of the IAAF's Code of Ethics. Former All-Russia Athletics Federation Chief Valentin Balekinovich and coach Alexis Melnikov are also in the dock. None are expected at the 3-day hearing, which starts on Wednesday. The charges relate to the payment of about £435,000 pounds that Russian former London Marathon winner Lilia Shabakova allegedly made to have her doping violations covered up. Her 38-month ban from track and field was reduced by 7 months after she turned whistleblower for the World Anti-Doping Agency. A decision from the hearing, which will be held in London, is expected in early January. Russia have been banned from international athletics competitions after a report by WADA's independent commission alleged they were guilty of state-sponsored doping.
Jamaica's Usain Bolt will prepare for the Rio Olympics by competing at the 2016 London Anniversary Games, the 6th-time Olympic. And that was sports. We'll be back with some entertainment.
You're welcome back, and in the art segment of the news, stretching across approximately 21,196 kilometers across northern China, it is the longest wall in the world, like a gigantic dragon that winds up and down across the mountains and plateaus. The Great Wall of China, built about 2,300 years ago, is described as one of the greatest wonders of the world. Every year, millions of tourists from around the world visit this attraction to experience the breathtaking process, which is certainly not for the faint-hearted.
The Great Wall of China is a significant aspect of China's history. The 21,196-kilometer-long wall is a series of fortifications that starts from Hushan in the east to Jiaoyunguan in the west and across the northern borders of China. This piece of defensive architecture stretches across deserts, grasslands, mountains and plateaus. Construction of the wall was started in the 7th century during the rule of the Qin, Han and Ming dynasties. The various kingdoms at the time built high walls in their respective territories to protect themselves from enemies from neighboring states. In 221 BC, Sheng Xinguan, who defeated all the various kingdoms and unified China, ordered the soldiers and civilians to consolidate the various high walls into a single wall, which is now the Great Wall. The wall, which is listed as one of the 7 wonders of the world, has 10 sections that winds through 15 cities, provinces and autonomous regions. It has watchtowers built along the stretch to the top of the mountain. Millions of tourists across the globe throng the various sections of the Great Wall annually to experience what it takes to climb the wall. On a recent visit to the Jiaoyunguan Pass of the Great Wall, located 60 kilometers from Beijing, many tourists from various countries made an effort to be part of history by climbing the wall. For most of these tourists, climbing the steep stairs to the top was an experience worth its while. Others saw this as an opportunity to exercise their limbs.
That's all right. Okay, rest
A caution on a signpost that reads, "If you have brain and heart disease, climb to your capability," was an indication that climbing was not for the faint-hearted. This tourist, who says it was his first time climbing the famous Great Wall, was happy he had achieved his aim of climbing to the top.
It was great. The view up the top is amazing. You can see all around, and you sort of think anyone that was trying to invade can be seen, and by the time they got to the wall, they would be dead from all the hard work they've done to get over the many hills.
Records show that the best time to visit and climb the Jiaoyunguan Pass of the Great Wall is spring. This section stretches from a valley to the top of a mountain, and so one gets to see a beautiful scenery of the green vegetation on the mountains at its east and west walls. The 2014 revenue figures of China's tourism sector show that the country raked in 3.38 trillion yuan, which is about $551 billion. Without a doubt, the various tourist attractions, such as the Great Wall of China, contributed to this growth.
With technical support from the Ghana Meteorological Agency.
Hello there, welcome to the Winco Weather Report. I'm now Ofe Biajube. So with the Hamatan season, we're still experiencing dryness and haziness in the country, which will persist tonight and tomorrow. Mist and fog patches would be recorded for those over the high grounds of the country, talking about those around Abetifi, Koforidua, Drabenda, surrounding areas, down to the coastal belt as well. Mist and fog patches would record. Visibility would be low during the early hours of the day. We therefore caution motorists to take precautions. However, temperatures will be 19 degrees Celsius over the northern sectors of the country, 24, 22 degrees Celsius for those over the middle sectors of the country. Low humidity would be recorded as well. For the afternoon, no significant cloud is expected, respecting temperatures, however, to be 36 degrees Celsius over the northern sectors of the country, 33, 34 degrees Celsius for the middle sectors, and 32 degrees Celsius along the coastal belt. This is how we're expecting your localities to look like in the next 24 hours. Shortly on your screen is the forecast for the next 48 hours. Stay tuned. Thanks for joining me on the Winco Weather Report. See you tomorrow.
Thanks for joining us on News Hour. We'll see you at 10:30 with News Tonight.